First practice is now complete. Please deliver your last stone drop. Second practice teams, you may step on the ice to cool your sliders. Second practice may begin.
Hello and welcome to the final day of the World Mixed Double Curling Championship of 2013, coming to you live from Fredericton, New Brunswick. My name is Sarah Carlson, and for the last time this week I am joined by the very friendly and knowledgeable Dean Gemmell.
Thank you, Sarah. Glad to be here for this final game.
Yes, this is the final game, and it's going to be between Hungary and Sweden. These teams going to battle for gold here this afternoon. We did have semi-finals earlier. You see the final stages right here. Sweden had a quarterfinal against Scotland, semi-final against Norway, and they are now in the gold medal game. Hungary had to beat first Austria, then they went on to beat Czech Republic, and because of that we're going to see Norway and Czech Republic playing for the bronze.
For Hungary, the lineup that we saw in the last feature game: Zsolt Kiss is the male player, Dorottya Polunchka is the female player, and they are coached by Zoltán Polunchka.
Lineup for Sweden is Fredrik Hallström and Elisabeth Norredal. Their coach, he has been in the final here. He was last year.
So he should know what he's doing in the final.
He should know what he's doing in the final. He picked up a silver in Erzurum, Turkey. His name is Per Norén.
Mixed doubles curling, as we've talked about all week, is different than traditional curling, of course. Naturally, it's played in teams of two versus 4 players, which makes sense since it is called doubles. We do play it on the same sheets of ice as traditional curling. Each team has 6 stones per end, but 1 stone is put in place before the end begins, so each team throws 5. The position stones, the team with last rock puts their stone at the back of the button. The team without last stone puts theirs, starts with a stone splitting the center line as a guard. The order of play is different as well. Player 1 throws stones 1 and 5 in an end for the team, and player 2 throws stones 2, 3, and 4. We had a quick look there at who will throw which color and who has last rock. See, Hungary got last stone advantage.
Yeah, they were closest to the pin in the draw shot challenge. They will also be playing the red stones, while Sweden will play the yellow.
So that part of mixed doubles curling is the same as we see at World Championships in traditional curling, a draw to the button for hammer. Sweeping can be done by both team members, although one player has to be in the rings when the stone is delivered, or in the playing area beyond the hog line at the scoring end. Each team receives 46 minutes of playing time, and we play 8 ends in mixed doubles curling. Blank ends do not allow a team to retain the hammer into the next end, so you won't see somebody blank an end on purpose. Lots of rocks in play usually in most ends, so blank ends aren't really a possibility.
Gonna listen into the bagpipes here as the teams march in. They're going to be introduced. See some of the competitors this week: the Austrian team, New Zealand team, Japan, and Australia, all watching from the VIP lounge here in the Grant Harvey Centre. The flags of the Mixed Double Curling Championship on the roof. Coaches are in their seats, and you see the teams marching in right here.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the 2013 World Curling Federation World Mixed Doubles Curling Championship, brought to you by Cox and Palmer Law. For our medal games of this 6 o'clock draw, or 5 o'clock draw, on sheet A, in our bronze medal game, curling the red stones representing the Czech Republic, Tomas Paul and Zuzana Hajkova.
A Czech team, we saw them earlier today. They've been really strong throughout the week, but lost to a better playing Hungarian team.
Team Norway, they were a 3rd place team in their pool, got into the playoffs and made it as far as the semifinals.
Also were the Czechs, so
yes, 2 of the 3rd
both had
place
a good
teams
run in the playoffs.
I should say there were 27 teams to start this championship. They were divided into 3 groups of 9 teams each. Team Hungary. Top 2 teams in each pool advanced automatically to the quarterfinals. Then the third place teams were decided with a play-in game and a draw shot challenge story. There's your Swedish team.
And interestingly enough, the Swedes and the Hungarians, they were second in their groups, and the bronze medal game is both being played by thirds. So no one that won the group actually went on into any of the medal games.
Saw Norway in the they're now in the bronze medal game, of course, but in the quarterfinal they upended defending champion Switzerland. So we will have a new gold medalist here at the World Mixed Doubles.
And a new bronze medalist. Let's see if we can get a new gold medalist, or a new silver medalist, of course.
Hungary
Sweden got the silver last year.
Hungary did win a silver medal in 2009 at
so
this event.
Both countries will be hungry for a gold. As we said earlier, it was Hungary that won the draw to the button for hammer, so they will have the stone back of the button. Sweden will have the center guard, and it's going to be Elisabeth Nordahl to get this final underway.
Sweden uses the lineup that most of the teams used here, with the male player throwing 2, 3, and 4. Hungary uses a lineup a few other teams used, with the male player throwing 1 and 5 and the female player throwing 2, 3, and 4. Norway on the adjacent sheet in the bronze medal game rotates or shifts lineups a little more than others. Here comes Elisabeth Nordahl with the opening stone of the game. Looks like it might be a little heavy to start.
Yeah, the Swedes did have first practice. Maybe the ice has quickened up since. Do you find that happens often?
I think it can, even though this surface has been awfully consistent from start to finish. In mixed doubles games, of course, 8 ends and fewer stones in play, and not 2 sweepers on every stone. We haven't seen pebble breaking down at all.
Zsoltkesh with an early chance to apply some pressure if he could be in front of the tee line with this.
He was awfully good with these in the semi-final.
He's going to come down to the yellow, leaving the freeze still available for Sweden. This time it's going to be Fredrik Hallström in the hack, ready to throw.
Asking for less ice.
That is the Swedish term that you have been getting really good at, Dean.
I'm really good when I see them ask for something and then move the brush. Hear them ask for something. Both these teams probably throw maybe fewer of the less likely to peel and throw runbacks than perhaps Czech Republic was, or even Norway with Marcus Nedregaten. Both teams, I think, are going to play a more finesse game. They're going to look for more angles and freezes.
And that was a nice freeze by Fredrik, but the angles are looking well, pretty good for Hungary. They could probably tap that a little bit, come down to it.
They might have room to push it through there. See how much weight they throw at this.
Dorothea Palanca, female player for Hungary. She's 17 years old, so she is the youngest player on the ice right now, but she seems to be handling the pressure absolutely fine, or she was in the semis.
This looks a little solid. She's going to come onto the back. Swedish stone there. I'm going to push that right back.
Sweden calling a freeze on their own.
Trying to lock another one in the button area and continue to close down the scoring area. See if Hungary starts to think about moving those stones to their next one. Fredrik Hallström, when they won the quarterfinal, and they interviewed him, he said, Sarah, that a lot is expected of Swedish teams at World Championships, so they were happy to continue to advance and represent their country well.
Well, definitely. Sweden they're often in the mix when it comes down to playoff stages, and this Swedish team certainly isn't letting us down.
Hungary, of course, a country where curling is still developing. They have a two-sheet club in Budapest, so this is a significant final appearance for that country and for this team. Zsolt Kish and Dorottya Polanska, after their last win, were said that this result had already exceeded their expectations, but I'm sure they'd like to finish things off with a gold medal.
Definitely. Fredrik Hallström actually has a world silver medal already from this season. He is the coach of Margareta Sigfridsson. I'm sure he would like to take a gold home as well. So 2 strong contenders. Sweden still with shot stone, but some more separation now.
Some more separation and a fair amount of red in the rings right now, belonging to Hungary. So if they do get an opportunity to make a play somewhere at this end, it may be for multiple points.
They are making it fairly easy on us. Hungary with the red shirts and the red stone. Sweden with wearing yellow, playing yellow.
Even I won't be able to get confused in this game.
Well, let's see.
That's a good point. I still may, but you'll keep me in line, I hope. Here comes Hallström. Needs a good one here.
Yeah, sitting shot, but as you said, so many reds lying around. He's going to need to sit 2 if they want to be able to create trouble for Hungary. And he just said, I don't know what happened. I think he was just light.
It just looked light out of his hand and light midway down. He's going to over curl. And Hungary has...
well, we may just have done a pretty good job of guarding their shot stone, but it is certainly a lot of room for Hungary to get one in there.
Not so sure they even couldn't get to that yellow with the in-turn. If they wanted to move it, that would leave Sweden to freeze back, perhaps to get right out of the end. Some teams, I think, here would entertain the notion of the double peel and leave Sweden stuck trying to play in the rings. Dorottya Polanska and Zsolt Kish, though, have all week have demonstrated they prefer this style. Kish having a glance over at the bronze medal game.
And Polanska with a stone on its way. Important that they stay top of the tee line. They would love to be able to use this on the next.
Well, it's not shot, but it is in a fairly good position, but I'm not sure that's the greatest result. In fact, I don't think it is. Leaves Sweden still shot rock at the back and with an opportunity here to draw another stone in.
They want to draw another one in, and it's important to come all the way down. They could also hit and roll off of the red if they want to take that shot away from Hungary. But it would be really important that they roll behind cover, not to leave a double back. So they have elected the draw. We'll need to be all the way down or make sure that that in-off isn't available because it's for a bundle.
Elizabeth Nordahl with Sweden's last stone at the end.
quite a bit of weight.
Does Kish have an opportunity to use his own, try to spill both of those, or can he see enough? He might be able to see the sliver, yes. Certainly worth a try early in the game, even if he gives up a deuce. There's plenty of time to come back in mixed doubles. Basically, I think if he hits what he can see, he should score 4, maybe 5 if he's fortunate. I like the sounds of that.
What do you think it meant?
Not sure, but I like it. So, if he hits what he sees,
they should both go.
And I think they will depend how that yellow comes off and whether it jams on that red and just half in the back 8. I don't think it does.
We might be about to find out. He certainly can't see a lot of this, but it will be enough if he makes it. I don't think he's wide.
No, he really started that, or it picked. So, not the start Hungary was looking.
No, Sweden gets away out of that mess with a steal of 2. They will have an early lead. After one end at Sweden 2, Hungary still nothing, of course. We only played one end. Some supportive high fives going on still, though. Very early in the game, and mixed doubles is certainly a format that allows for big scores.
Well, Hungary played a reasonably good end, despite giving up a steal of 2. I think if they had, they might have entertained the thought of the in-turn tap on Palenchka's last shot. Well, they certainly did leave themselves in the end with a shot for multiple points.
Sweden score in the first, and just like traditional curling, they will start off the second end.
Line looks good. Maybe over curling now.
You think Frederick could be there with the broom as well, rather than standing next to her telling her to sweep?
It does seem in mixed doubles as though, which is a little different than, of course, in traditional curling, we're often taught that the person in the rings coming out to help often creates more problems. So perhaps that's part of Frederick's cultural currency when it comes to curling. But it certainly doesn't help much to just come out and applaud your teammate in mixed doubles, because you can add a second sweeper rather than a third. It's a nice shot by Joel Kish.
Yeah, really nice.
It's created some separation. Frederick Hallström can still come down here and...
Well, he's going to need to freeze, and then he's probably going to need to tap a little bit to close the scoring area down. Sweden had a tight semi-final game against Norway. They were one up without Hammer coming home, and managed to steal in the final end to come through to the final.
Over curling a little bit, leaves the Hungarian counters staggered on each other.
Still not a bad result if they can never come up to that again and tap it down. It would close the scoring area down, but Hungary, they're going to come down after it and try and move it to the side or lock another angle onto it.
Rock has some curling to do.
Palancha with her typical spinning the broom to make the stone curl. I think this is just big on weight.
Just heavy. Again, they're leaving a lot of red stones around, and there isn't the usual big cluster around the button area, though. But they'll need to make a play on that high yellow or whatever Frederick Hallstrom manages to put in here now. I think they were hoping to move that yellow course, and even if they rolled open but moved the yellow far enough, it would have been good.
And even if they would have been a bit short and left Sweden to make a play on it, where they would still have been sitting 2 and might have left a tricky angle.
So Hungary lying 2, but Sweden with an opportunity to take those stones away. Well, we saw more than half the teams, but not all of the teams in this event with coaches. But both teams in the final do have coaches.
So you think that might be a winning concept?
I think a coach in mixed double is certainly advantageous. Last year's champion Martin Rios. Martin Rios.
Close enough,
I
maybe.
was thinking of Magnus Nedregaten, who I called Marcus. So Martin Rios, they're coached by Al Moore last year and this year.
So that's the second time Frederick has done that. Come up really short and hit the guard. I think they were allowed to pick their stones before the game.
Yeah, and Hungary was, when I glanced at the stones before the semi-final, they were the one team that had chosen stones from other sheets, not just the sheet they were on. So they clearly have some sort of book on the stones. Not sure if that means the other teams don't have a book. I'm sure they do, but it might just mean that the stones are very good. I haven't heard any issues among anybody about the stones they're using here. A set of stones that Hans Wuthrich owns. Also curling too much and wrecking on the guard.
Sweden's going to come down and try and tap their own a bit. They only need to get in there for a second shot. If they could limit Hungary to only scoring 1 this end, I think it'd be a very good result.
Take 2, give up 1 is always a winning formula in any curling game, whether it's traditional curling or mixed doubles. The way it finishes, you will have to get fairly close to the red guard, the red corner guard.
Certainly seems to be curling, and it's on the guard again.
Not sure if the players are fooled right now by the ice, if it's curling more, or if they're just all starting it a little bit. So most misses here so far have been over curling. Question for Hungary is how to bring some of these other stones into play.
Well, they could hit and roll. I think they are. To get into this gap, they're going to need to throw a bit more weight.
Belülről benne van? De az normál. Mert itt kell eltalálni pontos, egy picit be kell jönni ide. Jó. Ő úgyis a tebbeket fogja dobni. Jó.
And I think Zsolt Kish reminding his teammate that he would have to throw at least normal here. Or telling her that, I'm not sure. That's my guess at that Hungarian exchange. Looks like they're
playing the intern?
I guess so, just
That's a surprising way of getting through this, but
doesn't like it. I think a little full.
oh, and that's not going to be a fortunate result. Sweden's been trying to make a play at this yellow all end, and now it's certainly just opened up for them. I think they really wanted to play that with the out turn.
Well, I mean, the in-turn certainly was available. Either way, it's tough. They had to, I think it would have been easier to try to get by that red corner guard than with the in-turn. They had to deal with the yellow stone that's in the top forefoot. And of course, then they never got to that. Looks like Doracha Polonchka popped it a little more than she might have liked. Sweden still has to be careful they don't leave some sort of angle here that Zsolt Kish could use with his last. Right now, Hungary's still lying 2. They've been lying 2 for some time.
Just going to play a bit more than T-weight here to try and tap it down.
You see this a lot from Frederick. He looks at it and then reconsiders.
Yeah, he just thought it's going to be really difficult. So going for a normal takeout instead. If they could leave their shooter there, it might stick the yellow, leave the shooter. Might be difficult for Hungary to score 2. And now he's changing his mind again.
This might be time for Elizabeth Nordahl to have another look at it, but
they're still going to hit it. Just brings the weight down a bit. Board.
certainly there. If they can leave the yellows just slightly staggered, it will create some real problems for Zsolt Kish in terms of trying to score. We are
really curling.
We're seeing everybody's stones over curling right now. That leaves Zsolt Kish with a hit for 3. If he can get to the inside of the, actually just draw for 3, sorry. If there is a draw there, the hit might be easier.
The hit might be easier, actually. I don't really know where you draw for the 3.
You have to get awfully close to that high yellow with the in-turn to make the draw, so easier with a bit more weight.
Kívülről nem látom benne. Kívülről nem látom benne.
Hát én se. Azért rakd a vonalra.
Milyen erő lesz?
Picit lassabb lesz, mint a tiéd azért.
You've seen a number of players have watched their stones over curl, so we'll see if they adjust their ice based on that observation.
They're going to play the, he's going to play the in-turn as well, just as Palancha.
The out-turn might run a little straighter, but we've seen a lot of curl from the inside out.
Okay.
Asking for a little less ice.
I think you'd rather over curl rather than not curl enough here. Catching the yellow really isn't an option. But here is the last stone in the second end to score 3 and actually take the lead after that first steal of 2. And it's really breaking now.
That will be just 1 for Hungary. You could sense, even though Doracha Polonchka called the sweepers called Zsolt Kish off early, you had a sense that that stone would move.
So that's really unfortunate for Hungary. They were sitting 2. Will only get one of them to count. And after 2 ends, it's Sweden 2, Hungary 1. And in the bronze medal game, Czech Republic got off to a good start. They scored 2 and then they stole 1, so they are up 3-0 on the Norwegians.
In our feature match here, Hungary, in our feature match, the gold medal game, Hungary really had chances these first two ends to score 2 or more, and has not been able to close the deal. Schultz was really good with these in the latter half of the game, the semifinal game against the Czech Republic. See how he gets things underway in the third end. He's 24 years old. He started curling in 2004. He's a former basketball player. He started curling when he had a basketball injury. He still plays basketball. And he's fooled by the ice.
I wonder if the ice is different or if something happened because the players are not in the same control. But then again, all of a sudden you're in the World Championship final, and that might also have some effect on you.
Perhaps that is it. It's time to settle down, though. They're in the third end.
And the Swedish team, a bit more experienced. Elisabeth Norredal is 45. She started curling in 79.
You see a final here, teams young and old. We saw that a lot. I don't know if the Frederick and Elizabeth would like me calling them old. Let's call them veteran.
I don't know how you feel about calling them old.
Yes, neither do I. Yes, since they are quite similar in age to me. But they are, we've seen a mix of youth and veteran teams. This game has happened just after the senior finals. Dorocha Polanska, she's 17 years old, started curling in 2007.
Yeah, so Canada with 2 golds in the seniors.
Yeah, the men and women both captured gold medals. So that was popular with the crowd here in Fredericton. This looks really good.
Polanska's going to capture the button. And she gets a big high five for it too.
Looks as though she gave through that with more rotation than she has previously. I don't know if that was a...
Well, I think it's an important thing, especially on this type of ice, and if it's maybe even curling more today than previous, and they really need to make sure they throw rotation.
Fredrik Hallström. He's 46 and started curling in 1975. Now this rock has got some curling to do, but if we've, based on previous experience, it should finish hard. There it goes. Oh, that picked. I'm not sure what kind of pick that was, but it was a
big one.
Yeah. I don't think it was just a flat spot pick. There's the defending champs, Martin Rios and Nadine Lehman, with Coach Al Moore in between.
Comforting popcorn. They're reigning world champions for about an hour and a half.
About an hour and a half, and a little less than that maybe. They were playing awfully well. They were undefeated in their group, and then ran into a Norwegian team that played very well against them in the quarterfinal. Mixed doubles curling, once you're into the final stages, into the playoff round, there is single elimination. Schultz well out here. 1 foot on the carpet.
Yeah, he does have 1 foot on the carpet. They're coming down the outturn side. I'm wondering if they could actually lock another one on the intern. It looks more difficult to me to get a good angle here, but she might know the way a lot better than I do. But this looks short.
This looks light as well.
And over curling.
And that won't change the complexion of this end a great deal.
No, so what they were thinking was maybe that Sweden could tap their own yellow and squeeze the red shotstone out of there.
Sweden might be able to play a peel on those 2 reds. I wonder if they can catch the yellow there. They looked at it, I think, but I don't think they quite catch the yellow. The push that out of the way. We have seen other teams in this event play the peel perhaps more than these two teams will play it. Probably not now, but earlier in ends.
Gonna attempt the tap here, Fredrik Hallström. Just with draw weight. Would like to just chisel the red a little bit to the side.
Or chisel.
Sorry, did I say that wrong?
It's all right, you said it's Swedish.
Okay.
Chisel.
Well, that's really getting some finish here, and you won't actually even make contact with the red. Just a tiny bit.
And actually lined up the placed Yellowstone a little more behind the red shot rock that belongs to Hungary.
Close to really good, but then not really making any difference. Actually just made it harder.
Indeed it did.
So Hungary can close that side off now with the guard. And then how's Sweden gonna score?
Végig be kell húzni.
The way this ice is curling, if they were going to just guard these, they could have entertained the throwing the in-turn inside out, but that works pretty well.
That works really well, but maybe something that Sweden can run in.
It's not completely closed down. They may be able to get to their Yellowstone just touching the top four.
Yeah, I think they're playing the same shot again. We saw the previous one played by Fredrik really catch some curl here, so he basically just needs to find the same path.
I think Hungary going a little wider there, maybe going beyond where it really starts to move, not getting the finish that they were expecting.
Important stone for Hallström.
They do have an opportunity if he can make this. It's certainly not.
And he just said it's never happening, so.
It's never happening and backed right off, and then could have used some sweeping.
Maybe he knew that it was in the guard, and that's why he didn't bother.
I hope it was that rather than he thought it was that wide. Didn't hit the guard by all that much, but may not have been helped too much by sweeping. I'm not sure. It's a long angle raise for 3 or 4, but it is available for Sweden. So Hungary looking to see how they take that away. They're way out here beyond the 12-foot.
Igazából azt akarom egyébként, hogy a lyukat is védjük, meg a sárgát is.
Oké.
Okay, they are in agreement.
Final stone for Hungary in the third end. They would love to get away with a steal.
Steal ties the game up for Hungary. Down 2-1 at this point.
2-3.
2-3.
2-3 is Haram.
He will cover the hole. Leave Sweden the run back.
Angle run back, it's a long one, but it is for, well, probably be for 4. Harem is 3, is that right?
I think so. At least when they say that, the stones seem to end up 3.
Well, let's assume that it is.
We like to think that we know something.
We'll see if we can figure out 1 and 2 by the end of the game as well.
Elisabeth Nordahl, she has this angle race to score 2, 3, 4.
Depends how cleanly she gets the red out and how much yellow she can manage to leave in the rings.
That would make sense.
Yes, that's typically how curling works, isn't it? Might be close. Might be close. Oh. Just over curling, about a quarter of a rock.
So it is going to be a steal of 1 for Hungary and a tied game. After 3 ends, it's a score 2 and 2. Could this final be any more exciting?
Could it be closer?
I don't think so. And we see some the Swedish senior team. He lost the bronze medal game earlier to Switzerland. As Norway got their first point on the board, they scored 1 in the 3rd end in the bronze medal game here in the mixed doubles. Czech Republic now leads that game 3-1, and they will have hammer in the 4th end.
Zsolt Kish with the first stone of the 4th end. I think there's a call for line and a corresponding call of plenty of weight.
We really are getting good at this.
Oh, we really are. But actually, it's just about perfect.
Yeah, we've said that if you happen to tap with the first stone, it's perfectly fine if you manage to get to nose, as Zsolt Kish quite often does. It's not good if you hit the angle and roll off, but
so sweeping to hold the line always makes a lot of sense versus trying to hope it digs in and then watch it curl across the face of the stone. Rock has some curling to do.
yeah, Frederick calling out that he thinks it looks heavy. And it does look heavy.
Settle in at the back of the forefoot and create a wall back there.
Yeah, Frederick's just saying we should have swept it through to avoid all of that backing for Hungary.
Kish can freeze to it. He can move it slightly. He could also play just to the top 8, bite the top 4.
If they move it, of course they would like to curl up to nose or even to the inside.
Sounds like an 8. And looks like it might be a little more than an 8. We have seen Dorocha Polunska be a little bit solid with some of these. And with that additional weight, the rock never finished. Now Sweden needs to create some separation and move that red stone, the current shot rock.
And here's the man to do it. Frederick is in the hack. Broom is up. Now you just got to throw the right weight.
I think if they can hit half of the red stone that's shot rock and roll their shooter over.
Yeah, definitely.
Start to create a nice looking house for Sweden. A lot of yellow in good places. Not perfect yet, but definitely better than it looks right now.
Helst inte lite lång. Jag vill ta den in i röda. Åh, det vill jag.
Need to stay on the high side. Don't want to come right to nose on this.
No, I just swept that a little bit too late. The communication between these two is actually really entertaining. Frederick saying, I want the inside of the red rather than we want. And you'd kind of think they should have talked about that before throwing the shot. And Elizabeth just said no.
We have talked about players going to the far hack immediately, getting ready to throw, versus perhaps hanging around near the scoring end a little bit longer and making sure they have a good look at the house. That seems to be a smart way to do it.
Yeah, rather than yelling from the far end and then actually not knowing, both of the players might not even know what's going to happen, and we've actually seen a couple of misses this week due to the lack of communication or the lack of knowledge of what the house looks like.
Hungarian's just content to guard here.
Det börjar bli jävligt svårt sen att komma åt någonting om vi inte gör den.
This is Hallström's last stone at the end.
No, he actually has two to come.
More, yes.
You promised you weren't going to mess up the stones.
Immediately I did, yes. His middle stone.
Opening up the guards. How do you like that call here?
Oh, I was just going to, I was looking at how many he had left, because I think with 3 stones to play still for Sweden, opening up the guards is a smart play. I don't see how another freeze or tap accomplishes a whole lot. I'd like to see them rearrange the front, rearrange that control zone. But after they selected that, they reconsidered. It's just so difficult to guard a single stone here at the Grant Harvey Center right now. A lot of curl in the ice and 1 sweeper, so you don't have 2 sweepers to manage it. Guarding a single stone is a challenge. That's why we have favored Peels perhaps a bit more than some players. Of course, Frederick will probably make something brilliant now. Well, I don't think that qualifies as brilliance, but it's in play. I think, you know, Hungary has a really great opportunity right now.
Yeah, if they can roll in here. And we did hear Frederick say when they talked about playing the draw, he says this would be good, but it's going to be a disaster if we don't make it. And he might have had a point right there.
Dorancha Polonska can be and really throw this to make sure she rolls inside. I sort of have to really work on my Hungarian because that was not the best use of my Hungarian there. And there's the shot she needs, though. Just a gem for Dorancha Polonska.
I think you're doing a great job, Dean.
For the linguistically challenged Dean Gemmell, that's about as good as it gets for me. That said, when I spoke to them before the game, I think they appreciate my efforts, so I'll take solace in that.
I do think they appreciate it, and you have made, and I think we both have made a lot of effort, actually, and we have learned.
We have learned. I've learned quite a bit about international foreign languages.
So with that roll, Sweden in all sorts of trouble.
Yeah, terrific shot there for the Hungarians.
Yeah, they can see a little bit of this.
I mean, ideally they roll a half rock further, but certainly a great result.
Yeah, 3 stones on the pin and 2 guards.
So good that Frederick Hallström got to the hack and realized just how good it was and is elected to come down and have another look. I think the big mistake was the previous shot, failing to peel. And
then not executing what you set out to do instead.
Yeah, and well, and the shot they were trying was awfully difficult, so it was easy to have that result. He didn't miss it by much. So now looking at just ripping that one, perhaps catching, thinking you could catch the back of the red stone. It's on the back of the button.
He said, I'm going to decide when I make it to the hack. That's always good. You know, he knows what it looks like up there. So he wants to come down and see what he's looking at from the hack. It will kind of make sense.
What he likes. Let's hit it awfully thin to catch that red at the back.
Now, if he could catch it, though, and spill them, it'll be looking better.
Yeah, I mean, he should be able to get rid of at least one red, which is would help somewhat, no matter what. Through this with a lot of
Really
weight and a big extension.
Question is, with that extension,
I think he
did
may
he get an in-out motion? No.
There you go.
Such a great result.
Manages to make the double, essentially. Moves the, able to spill the one on the back button. This rock rolls far enough that it's not going to count in this end, I think.
Hát akkor idegárdat. Azért...
Idegárd?
Igen.
Kish and Plunchka debating the guard versus bringing in another shot for seconds, July 2nd or 3rd.
And they are now guarding a steal of 1 rather than a steal of 3.
They could corner freeze on that yellow, would be a great guard.
Yeah, the corner freeze would be good, but if they were ever not to curl enough, they could leave Sweden a double for 3 or 4.
Or if they were to bounce off that yellow and roll, they could do the same thing.
So just the guard might be a wise call to leave a more difficult shot for Sweden. They have a little bit more room for error.
See how deep he wants this guard. Could leave it high, or he could actually tuck a little bit of it behind the center line guard. Jolt Kish after his rocks pretty quickly out of his hand.
Really curling now.
And that was one where I think they really should have considered throwing it inside out. They were really wide with the broom.
And look at this end turning around for Sweden. Elisabeth Nordahl can actually now try and pick this for
2
I'm
and
not sure.
possibly 3 if they make that double. Is that double available?
I'm not sure who's best out of the ones back 12 foot. So if they stick around,
yeah, they
possibly 4.
They might be lying 2, 3, 4 right now. If they were to, if they don't jam this.
No, they were looking at giving up a steal of 3 at one point, and now here's a shot for 3, perhaps even 4.
Example of the more conservative guard perhaps being not as wise a call as the aggressive draw for July's second shot.
Oh, and this needs to curl big time. I think she threw more weight than expected.
It's good enough.
She will pick it though for 3.
For 3, and a celebration.
So they score 3 to take a 5-2 lead into the break.
And an end that looked like it was all Hungary for most of the way.
Definitely, and we can also tell you that Czech scored 1 before the break to take a 4-1 lead over Norway after 4 ends over there. Frederick saying, not even I could skip that one away, it was perfect. So you see the line score after 4 ends there. Players will have a short break and we will be back just before the second half of the game with some highlights and recap.
Well, let's look back at the first 4 ends of our gold medal game. In the first end, Hungary was building a nice end with last rock. Had this difficult shot, though, for a multiple point score. Rex on the guard, Zsolt Kiss does, and gives up a steal of 2 to Sweden. In the second end, Hungary trying this shot for 3. An inside-out in turn. Curls more than they expected. And Hungary picks up just 1 to trail 2-1 after 2 ends. In the third end, Elizabeth Nordahl is left with this difficult long angle run, but 4 multiple points on it out of her hand. It over curls. She'll miss that, so it was tied up after 3 ends. We go to the fourth end. Elizabeth Nordahl trying to pick the red counter of Hungary, just touching the button, and score 3. There's the pick. Pushes it far enough, avoids jamming it directly on that red stone. 3 points for Sweden. They head to the break up 5-2. We'll start the fifth end. Hungary will have last stone, and Sweden will be up 5 points to 2. Well, an interesting first 4 ends, Sarah. Number of rocks in play, some attempts at big shots. We saw Elizabeth Nordahl make the pick for 3. We saw her try an angle run for probably 4. We saw Zsolt Kiss just miss an inside-out in turn for 3. Not exactly sure what's happened to Sarah's mic, but we'll fix that in a moment. There's one that's going to over curl for Elizabeth Nordahl. And right to the back 8 foot. Not the best start for Nordahl. Zsolt Kiss with his first here in the fifth end. Hungary will need to start putting some points on the board to get themselves back in this game.
I'm back, Dean.
You are back.
Yes.
I missed you, Sarah. Yes, talking but not hearing you. So here comes Zsolt Kiss trying to lock one on, or maybe be top 8, which is probably preferable. Just bite the button. So the scoring area doesn't like to be second shot, though. That's a terrific shot.
Yeah.
Really well played.
Even though Sweden has the upper hand on the scoreboard, Hungary, sure, they've been looking really good in a lot of the ends, and Sweden's been in some trouble.
They have had opportunities in just about every end to, when they've had last rock, to score more than 1. So far, Sweden is the team that has taken advantage of that opportunity to score more than 1 at the last rock, when Elizabeth Nordahl made the great pick in the last end with her last. Frederick Hallstrom really trying to close down the scoring area. That's why that stone of Kiss, Zsolt Kiss's first stone, not being locked on, is the better shot than freezing it right on there. It was important that he was second shot. He was that, just biting the forefoot. And now they can make another play to lie 3 here. Come to that red stone. They will lie 3. Get almost to nose of it. Move it slightly.
Yeah, we've seen it so many times, haven't we? Teams score multiple. You think one game is starting to lean one way, but you're never really safe in mixed doubles.
Difficult to defend a lead. You almost have to keep playing offense and trying to score. But I do think we have seen teams who are up hit judiciously, find good opportunities to hit.
So they won't set 3, but
angles aren't too bad, but it would have been nice for them to curl just a little bit more and bury that stone. There might be a triple there.
Yeah, I think Frederick said, let's just try blasting and see what it leaves us.
I think they can get rid of 2. I don't know about all 3.
I think it's a good call. If you're up 3 points, and you have an opportunity of making a few go away, I think it's a good call.
Yeah, I think Frederick's strategy there of let's just try blasting it and see what happens makes a lot of sense. So we'll see what happens. I think this will, if he hits it right, Hungary will lie 1, but 2 of their stones will leave the rings. Frederic's up and after it. Not touching it. And hit it a little thin.
Enough to, well, squeeze it out for 4th shot.
So in mixed doubles, I think that counts as a double. It's difficult to make that shot, that stone, count later in the end at this point. Yeah, I think here, Hungary, that Swedish stone in the top 8 foot on ice that moves like this is essentially a guard. It could half bury or even 3/4 bury behind it. Ideally just touch the button.
And even if they were to come down frozen, I guess, on the back one, Sweden might be forced to changing their hitting tactics into a freezing one. Leave some Hungarian stones around.
Which is similar to when you, in traditional curling, when you were down, you like to force the team that you're chasing to consider something other than a hit, but that goes right through the hole.
They're really over curling.
Daracha Kalanchka trying to hold the line with it to catch that back one. They really finish hard, these stones, as they're slowing down.
Now Sweden's going to tap their own up. I think if they try and hit the red shot stone, it will catch on their yellow. So they're going to play the tap. If they don't curl enough, they'll push that red stone out in the open.
Jolt Kish standing behind the rings, clearly less than enthusiastic about this situation, and for good reason. Fredrik Hallström always seems to slide a little tight with the intern, but does a good job, I think, of feeding it out to the broom.
Yeah, I think you're right, but it seems to be working. And well, we'll actually get quite a good angle on the red one, but
the yellow, when he tapped, is certainly exposed, and Hungary could make that play. If they roll a little inside, they could change the angles to their advantage as well. They could move their red stone slightly. Also just nose it, which though might leave enough room to get inside on it for Sweden, so the nose might not be the best. What do you like here, Sarah?
Well, I think it's a good call. Well, they're only down 3 points, so if they could make sure that they score 2 here, I think they're going to be looking really good.
I think if they could roll to the 8 foot on the left side, roll over a rock and a half or so, even if Sweden makes that easy run on the red stone that's basically locked on, or the yellow stone that's locked in the red, Hungary could have a chance to make a draw to lie 2. So I like a little roll this way. I don't mind that result.
No, question is, can Sweden make a play on the shooter to move the red? Well, Sweden sitting shot.
They're shot at the back. There's certainly a double there.
Hur mycket ser du på den där då?
Halva kanske?
They could hit the open one just on across the face of it. Good things would happen.
You see the two coaches there, really into the game.
Den är farlig, för att sätter vi ner den där nere är det ju inte kul, eller?
But Frederick really encouraging, just saying
Titta våran, den är det kanske inte.
hitting the open one
Okej, dra hit.
is terrible if you jam it, which is true though.
Dra hit.
So talked about a lot of things here, and they've elected a draw.
There is a jam possibility with a hit, but missed the draw, and they do bring a 3 into play, I think.
Står du på det där?
Elizabeth Nordahl's last shot, so this will be Sweden's last shot of the end.
Dra ju för 2 då.
And I think Hungary actually sitting shot at the moment. Elizabeth was asking Frederick if
Häng den på blått.
he wanted to guard, and then he said, well, they will be drawing for 2.
Elizabeth Nordahl, after making a great shot with her last in the 4th end to score 3, needs another good shot right here.
Ha linje.
Perhaps to avoid giving up a 3 back.
Exactly.
Ja! Nej. Ja! Ja! Ja!
Need to get by these first though.
Kom igen, kom igen. Kör på.
Got fortunate to have that shooter roll to there. Certainly prevents the 3, but a relatively straightforward deuce is available for Hungary.
Now Zsoltkes just needs to find a bit of the inside.
Azt nézd meg, légy szíves,
They will
olyan
score
mozdony,
2.
vagyunk, de szerintem nem.
Oh, and Czech Republic got away with a steal of 3 over Norway. They're leading the bronze medal game 7 shots to 1.
Jäger ligger har min
I have to
boll.
admit, I'm not surprised by that. I thought the Czech Republic was playing really well and just was a slight bit off in the semi-final. So Zsoltkes with a hit for 2 to draw within 1 of Sweden in our gold medal game.
Köpen! Ho! Ho!
After it quickly with an early sweep call, but they can roll inside and make a lot of good things happen.
No
Like
on off
scoring
is normally
2.
good.
And there's 2 for Hungary. A nice comeback after the break.
Close game again, as we see that stone one more time. A nice roll, and after 5 ends it's Sweden 5, Hungary 4. Sweden will have hammer in the 6th end.
Hungary has actually controlled a lot of ends, been in a good position. That was the first time they were able to score multiple points with hammer. They've had opportunities in earlier ends and then seemed to have a half shot miss somewhere along the line that made either produced a steal for Sweden or made it difficult for them to score more than 1. So Kish will start off with the draw to the stone that's placed at the back of the button.
Köpen! Köpen! Köpen, irány miatt végig! Irány miatt végig kell! Nyomd rá! 8-9! Ho! Köpen! 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 Köpen!
And it's starting to break,
Végig, végig!
and it's a good thing that he gets up to sweep fast.
Végig, nyomd rá!
Needs to hold the line here.
Crowd applauding, but it really over curled and doesn't end up in a great spot, and Kish certainly knows that. Seen very few stones under curl on that shot, haven't we, Sarah?
Yes, I can hardly remember any.
Right.
Elizabeth, even if she's just top 8 4-foot here, it will be a really good result for them.
I think she figures she's light with the head down, going hard.
By the guard, and over curling as well.
Over curling, but certainly something they may be able to use later in the end.
Yeah, we like to see teams keep some separation in between their stones to, we've said, expand the scoring area.
Let's see how much that rock over curled by. Almost fully out the other side, even though it's only in the top 8 foot. Lunchka with her first, her team's second.
And once again, twirling the broom, hoping for the stone to curl. And it's coming down.
Even though it's not frozen, it's the effect is the same this early in the end.
And the angles on the intern side isn't great for Sweden, but they do have that stone that was just played by Elisabeth.
It overcurled so much that it's accessible.
Yes, so Frederic's going to make a play on it to move it onto the red, just played by Palancha.
Långt ut, va?
Ja, kommer snart. Kommer ingenting.
Det är bra nu. Det är bra nu.
She goes, yep, he goes, it's fine. And it was fine.
It was, yeah, better than fine.
Yeah, that draw is still there for Hungary, but facing more yellow stones now, they might be better off doing something different.
That's exactly what Jolt Kish is considering. Sounds like they're going to play this with hack and at least try to get these yellow counters towards the back of the rings. Rock has some curling to do. Should finish here. They don't get especially lucky with how that chopped off either.
No, really not. So Sweden's drawing another one. If they wanted to make a really big house come and play, they could hit and roll, maybe catch the back one.
They could hit and roll and maybe hit their yellow that's corner frozen on the red in the 4 foot, enough to spill it. But freezing in here, they can lie 3.
Yeah, they can, and it's not really going to be a very good angle for Hungary to do anything about it either.
Sweden will have 2 stones after this one. They have last rock in this end. I'm going to bring this a little further still.
We would like to outcount that red, but will not.
Fredrik Hallström thought it had more weight than it did. When you throw it and sweep it, you have no opportunity to look at your sweepers and ask what they were doing.
No, you look up and there's no one there. It was just you.
You making the error.
I think.
Throwing it and making the sweeping error.
Are Hungary looking at the in-off, or are they just going to try and freeze this away? Or freeze to leave Sweden with a 2? I think they're looking at blasting.
Blasting or just moving? Yeah, blasting maybe. I think they think that they can hit this.
They are out counting the other 2 yellows. So if they can get rid of one.
They could get rid of both, hit it thin enough, maybe save the one that's biting the button. The higher yellow in the 4 foot area should spill out the side and avoid jamming, I think, on theirs. It's close. Looks like it would go over the top. Not easy though, no, it will need some weight.
Tetsz igaz is.
Yeah, I don't think she liked the look of that from the other end.
10-9.
Just tapping with this back.
Értem. 10, bőven van.
Push the yellows back and leave her red in a good spot in the front of the house.
Pirosat semmi. Oké, jó az.
What does your mean, Dean?
Means I'm contemplating a mixed doubles house we haven't seen a lot of. So they're going to play a draw here, Sweden, I think. Frederic's looking at it. Elizabeth has a broom down already. We've got
Czech Republic just got the bronze.
handshakes on sheet B.
So happy bronze medalists over there, and the crowd actually goes wild for them.
Happy Czech fans.
They defeated Norway 8-1. Norway decided not to play anymore after the 6th end was finished.
And in that excitement, we missed this discussion, I'm afraid, but
Do you think they're going to tap the one that Frederick just played?
that would be my assumption based on that ice. Stay on the high side of this, of course, and I don't think that we'll be doing that.
No, but this could also be a very good result. Frederick again just very comfortable. She's yelling hard and he's just saying, no, this is good.
I don't think he was particularly thrilled. I mean, they're still its third shot, so they're lying first. They're lying first, third, and fourth.
But that red one is certainly starting to look very lonely in the forefoot.
It is, and there are a number of ways to remove it right now. Well, at least 2 ways to.
Well, 2 ways might be all you need. It's difficult for Hungary to take both options away, the in-turn double tap or the out-turn soft run back, I guess.
He's looking at the hit and roll on this high yellow with big weight. Heavy.
Heavy. I think that means big weight. That would make sense. Well, she did actually give him more ice when he said that, so it might mean more ice.
Yes. We wouldn't do very well playing with Jolt. Our communications might not be as good as they should be, but if he does, I mean, he can come off. If he hits it too thick, he might catch the higher yellow stone in there and make it tough for Sweden to get 2. If he hits it thin, I think he sticks right there and probably ends up lying 1 or 2.
Let's see what he can do. He's called to sweep, so I don't believe he was wide. Oh, called off.
Must be close. There it is. Well, he won't be shot, but a good attempt does leave Sweden a chance for 2.
But it's certainly looking so much better.
Talking about how it came in, he got a bit unlucky the way it spun up in the forefoot. I'm assuming that's what he's talking about. Sarah's laughing at me because I'm acting as if I understand Hungarian, which I surely don't, but I'm just assuming that's the conversation.
Is that what you would be talking about if you were him?
I think 95% of the curlers out there would be talking about that, so I just made that assumption. I will check with Jolt after the game.
Okay, you do that, and Elizabeth will try and score 2 for Sweden by tapping this up Final stone of the 6th end. They are sitting one already. They would love to keep their 3-point lead that they had in previous ends.
I think this is going to overcurl. No.
But it's going to be enough.
Just perfect.
Sweden
Elizabeth
scores
Nordahl.
2. She has come to play today. Score after 6 ends. We have 2 more ends to go. Sweden 7, Hungary 4. And of course, it is Hungary that's going to have hammer in the 7th end.
So they trade deuces after the break, and with that, Sweden is able to preserve the 3-point lead they had after the 4th end.
I'm wondering if they're starting to feel some nerves now. The Swedes know that if we can limit Hungary to scoring no more than 3, we will have a tight game and hammer coming home.
I think there are no nerves in the Swedish team.
Is that the experience talking?
Experience, steely there. As long as Fredrik Hallström doesn't start to imagine showing his women's team his own gold medal and stays focused on execution. With his coaching background, I imagine he's telling himself to do that right now. Elizabeth Nordahl is going to move the 1 on the button.
She's not allowed to hit it, but she won't.
She can't remove it. She can hit it, just not out of the rings, which she doesn't do there. Probably an advantage for Hungary though to have some space now. Joltkish. He's first of the 7th end.
And he would like to get a good freeze with a good angle.
Of course, as much as Hungary would like to score a 3 or more, they should remember, and I'm sure they will, that even a deuce in mixed doubles, even 2 here, certainly gives them a good opportunity in the 8th end. Stealing is, see a lot more steals in mixed doubles than we do in traditional curling, so you can certainly steal a victory.
Yeah, of course, with the way that the end is set up with that center guard and 1 back of the tee line, if you make your first freeze perfect, then the other team, they're not allowed to hit. So stealing is definitely a better option in mixed doubles rather than in traditional curling.
And of course, the opposite of that just happened here with Elizabeth Nordahl not making the freeze and pushing it back. Hungary has opportunities.
So Sweden will glue the pin.
They'll cover the pin, but not for long, and Hungary can start to build a wall at the back.
Yeah, I'm not sure that was very beneficial.
With a lot of room to score. Polonchka will need a good one here, though. That was not an optimistic call for sweeping.
No, but it looks quite good to me.
Looks better than it sounded.
Maybe there was just something in the throat of Joltkish there, because this one's coming down.
Pretty good. Really good, actually. Move it back. Does end up frozen on the back red, which is a bit unfortunate, but
push the one on the center line back, get a little roll on top of the one on the side.
push that back and get to the inside, or just angle on the one biting the button.
The one biting the button is the one that's going to be pushed down, and there's going to be an angle on the one just on the tee line.
Seems to me that will jam on the other yellow, but I did understand that. I think he might end up playing my shot.
And he's actually going to jam that as well. Hungary is still sitting 2, if my eyes aren't wrong.
Shooting 2 in really an advantageous house in mixed doubles when you have last track, to not be forced to play all around the button. Of course, they are going to bring another one in here, but
also with some backing.
Yeah.
And some backing in a good angle. That red one is just going to stay all day.
This would be one that would be good to sort of half bury. Maybe not completely frozen. Might like to be second or third shot, but half buried with a certainly create opportunities. Angles are good for Hungary.
Yeah, they sure are. And here we are again. Sweden started with an aggressive approach. They didn't hit when they were first allowed to hit, and now they're going to have to try and freeze their way out of this.
So Hungary nursing a 7-4 lead here in the 7th end, and all of a sudden they're freezing on a rock that they can only see probably as well. They can't see at all. It's overburied.
Sweden nursing a lead?
Yes.
I'm with you then. Yeah, suddenly they're actually in big trouble. We've seen this so many times. What do you think they could have done different?
Well, they certainly, Frederick Hallström could have not missed, would have been a good start, but he did miss that, unfortunately. I think he could have played a hit on the outside one, though, with normal weight, removed at least one, and tried to roll under and close down the scoring area.
Looks like he's got good weight.
That's what he's going to do here, though, close down the scoring area.
Yes, Hungary is still sitting 2, but 2 rather than 3. And it's now a little bit tighter for them to get a third one in there.
The Hungarian team stares at the scenario they're facing, trying to figure out how they turn a 2 into a 3. Do you think they have to move those 2 reds of theirs right now?
Well, Sweden only has 1 stone left. You might not have to move them.
Because if Sweden were to hit those, I think the back jams, I think the stone that's on the button would jam it away. It might still be second shot.
Jam.
They could try to draw for third shot now.
We're going to hear what Zoltán Palanska has to say, even though you and I won't understand them. They have called a timeout.
Perhaps we will be able to tell by tone and intonation.
It is also tricky because by drawing another one in here, they could actually just leave another freeze or a double or anything that's just going to help Sweden.
A hit and roll. Right now, however, Sweden really can't do much with those 2 reds. I do think it jams on the back red. If they were to hit it, Hungary would still be line 2. Doesn't it look like it's close? But
what would happen if they freeze where Zsolt has his broom? Sweden play that.
Most azon gondolkodom, hogyha egy picit megtoljuk, ide betolni, mert ha esetleg ő rá akar ütni, akkor az a sárga megfogja.
I'd like someone on Twitter to send me their thought on what the best call is right now.
Tehát ha ide áll, akkor úgy lesz a dupla, hogy az megfogja, és még ezt is, ez is itt fogja meg.
Hát legyen... Freeze, pici tolás, ez jó? Freeze, pici tolás.
Oké. Okay.
You see the Twitter hashtag that you can use right there, WMDCC 2013. I actually quite like if they angle freeze here. I mean, Sweden could make a play on the yellow, but if they lose their shooter and the yellow rolls out, I think the red one in the back might outcount the yellow one in the back, although I'm not sure.
And they would seem to have an opportunity for three for sure.
I think the Swedes are talking about having a timeout as well.
They don't want to do Hungary is rearrange those two red stones.
It looks good. Over curling, if anything.
Well, leaves Sweden with a difficult decision, I think. And I don't see how they can play a hit that will cut Hungary down.
No, it actually looks like if they hit the yellow, the red might actually catch on the yellow on the side as well.
Close to doing that, would certainly clip the back, but it might stick around.
We said that he had some knowledgeable experience being the silver medalist last year, so...
Unfortunately, he knows how to lose the gold medal game, Sarah.
Well, I guess you're right, but we're going to see what he has to say. Sweden could maybe roll in off of the yellow themselves.
Om vi slår vicka här då, känns det dumt då? Hit ja. Vill du spela insida på den här betten så får du det. Ja, gå ner och spela den. Alla träffar insida tycker jag blir skaplig.
They're going to hit and roll off of their own.
Probably the safest call they could make.
Yeah, I mean, if they lose three, they lose three. It's a tied game. They have hammer in the final end. It's not an ideal situation when you're 3 up. But it's not a really... If they make this roll, it's not going to be a really easy shot for 3 either.
Elizabeth Nedregarten has made some great shots. Elizabeth Nordahl.
You practiced Magnus' name so many times.
Right in front of me. Elizabeth Nordahl has been so good this game.
Oh, she's throwing some weight at this.
So Jolt Kish will have a draw for 3.
Lite så. Kanske tog bort ryggen med lite tur. Kanske. Ja, vi kan faktiskt med lite tur.
I think he might have taken the backing away.
So Kish needs full forefoot to score 3 and tie this game up. So once again, we saw a team try to protect a lead late in the game and have some difficulties doing it. I believe I hear the bagpipers warming up for the closing ceremonies.
I believe it's probably a very good thing to be warmed up if you're a bagpiper. Seems to be awfully hard on your lungs. And here to tie the game is Jolt Kish. If he can get this halfway to the 4 foot, he will score 3. Oh, it looks really short though.
chased it early, and I just don't know what happened to that one, whether it picked or whether he was just that light.
Either way, yeah, frustrating score of 2.
And Hungary has to feel like they left some points on the board so far this game. They had opportunities. And Sweden breathes a sigh of relief after that, I think.
I think they are. They were in trouble.
They're in trouble the whole end, really.
Now they have hammer. They are 1 up, and it is the gold medal game.
Let's see if Kish can rebound from his miss on that draw for 3. Lock one on here to start the 8th end and apply some pressure to Sweden.
Bronze medal game is finished, so this is the only game going on right now.
So these will be
He's by.
He's going to tap it slightly, but has good line. Taps it a little further than he would have liked.
Sweden could actually play a tick on the guards here.
They could.
I don't think I'd mind that call.
We actually saw Hungary use that tactic against Russia in a round-robin game, and it worked well for them. Not on this webcast, just a game on another sheet.
Good shot by Elizabeth.
But if you're going to call that shot, make it. And she did that.
And I think they're going to peel the guard with their next.
Sweden hasn't shown a propensity to start peeling early or run things in, so we'll see what they do.
Hot lead.
This is going to be hot.
We're not.
Or that might just be my Hungarian a bit rusty.
It's about as rusty as mine, but Dracha Polunchka.
Maybe 3-4.
I think so.
She is also by the guard.
If they can get to the other side, would be great. A better angle over curling, actually.
Sweden are going to peel.
Kallstrom with the peel. He's just going to watch this one. Seems to be mission accomplished. One peel down. Hungary can play in here, or they could guard and make Sweden waste a few shots when peels.
Yeah, as we've said, it's difficult to play the perfect guard, but if they can achieve it, they will be looking good for a steal.
With that rock in the top 8 foot, it's not as difficult to guard.
Nem gyors. 2-3.
Csak kettő, Dóri, csak kettő kell. Figyelj irányra, figyelj.
Here's the guard. Don't want to over curl though.
But as we said, it's so hard to place them. It will over curl.
over curling a bit.
But it might not actually be the end of the world, depending
No.
on how much it overcurled.
And I believe they're going to peel the guard. So if this end goes according to Sweden's plan, they would be left on Elizabeth Nordahl's last shot with a tap to promote their yellow stone to the button. If they could end up there, they'd be pretty happy.
Just looking at this again,
Staring
really no
it down.
indication of whether it's good or bad, but it was good, of course.
Sweden will have to decide when to make a play if Hungary successfully guards the rest of the way.
Now, if they play the perfect guard, Sweden might be struggling.
They will have something difficult to play in their last in order to score.
Both teams with 2 stones to go. Perhaps the 2 final stones of the entire week here in Fredericton.
Although an extra end is looming right now.
This guard's probably a bit closer, and I wonder if it is closer, if Sweden's now going to try and make contact with what's in the rings.
And now the double tap is available. They could throw peel at this and slash onto that red. Move their yellow onto the red shot rock on the button, and that's what they'll be playing.
They were talking about freezing or drawing in another one here, but I think this is definitely the right call. They need to leave themselves a makeable shot to win the game.
So this is their second to last shot of the game. They do have hammer in this end. See what Frederick thinks of it in the hack. He has been known to change his mind once he gets back there. I don't know what other shot you play here, though. I think if they get some action in the rings, they have a really good chance to win this game, and some action in the forefoot and the button. Again, stone-faced.
So this is looking fairly good. Oh,
but too thin.
he will just get the one, and I think it's safe to say Elizabeth Nordahl is going to face some sort of challenge.
She will face a difficult shot in her last to score one. If Hungary is able to throw a good guard here.
Innen nem tudunk védeni, szerintem ezt kell védeni. Hogy ezt vagy üsse meg a vökösödben, vagy tolja meg, de szerintem a tolás nincs benne, úgyhogy csak ide.
Ez a jég?
I don't think they need to overthink this. Elizabeth Nordahl will have a shot.
Picit még talán lehet egy picit szűkebb. Okay. Vége fordul nagyon. Ha kell, a végét nagyon szépen tudom vinni.
Asking for a little less ice. Of course, we haven't seen anyone. A guard, well, I've seen a few guards, of course, that didn't curl enough, but most guards, people struggle to keep them from curling too much.
3, 2, 2.
So 3-4.
I got that too. I got the 3-4.
Végét kell, ugye? 3, 3. Szerintem magától.
That was 3.
Akkor semmi.
2-3 now.
Most?
2-3. That's a good stone.
That is a good stone, and now if you're Sweden, what are you gonna do? You're gonna try and pick it. Elizabeth saying that I can't see this.
Spela bara fart hit.
This is not bound to look pretty from the hack.
Doesn't look good on this angle.
Bara tiddragning, Bettan.
I think they're just going to try to play T-line weight and see if they can move it ever so slightly and move it enough to count one.
Perhaps final stone of the game right here. Elizabeth Nordahl facing a red counter on the pin.
She makes this, she wins the gold medal at the World Mixed Doubles. If she doesn't, they'll play an extra end.
She's got to really go, and he should be up there sweeping with her. And no,
not gonna happen.
It's going to overcurl. We're going to get an extra end.
More mixed doubles action. Kish and Talancha not going away here, down 7-4 playing the 7th. They took 2 in the 7th, stole the 8th, and will play an extra end. Well, it's only appropriate that a gold medal game is this close. We'll settle it in an extra end. We can be fairly confident there won't be a blank.
Yes, that would be highly unlikely. So Sweden will have hammer once more. Let's see if they play this end differently. I really wouldn't have mind seeing them playing the tick, actually, with the first stone in the previous.
Well, yeah, I certainly think in retrospect that would have been a good play. There's Jim Waite in the Canadian contingent, the World Senior Women's Champion there, Kathy King's team. They had a convincing win over Austria in the final.
Yeah, I think they won 13-1.
It was a lot to 1, I know that.
A lot to 1.
Close to that.
It's not a lot to 1 in this game, it's 7 each. And a big call for sweeping. Oh, he was perfect in the 8th end.
Perfect
He
in the
will
8th.
rub off the guard in this one.
And here he's played the tick.
The one that we would have liked to seen Sweden play. Now they're not going to need to do that.
They could just freeze on top here. Well, they may be going wide around that guard. Not entirely sure. Or throwing it.
No, they were trying to draw. Elizabeth saying this is really long. She's right.
See, they were hoping to draw wide around that corner guard, I think. I think she thought it would have been especially heavy out there. So essentially, well, not essentially, it was a throw through.
Yeah, well, a lot of times the ice will be heavier out on the sides. The surface here is really nice. At least it wasn't that heavy out there. But they know that now.
They certainly do. And I don't think they'll throw that out there again, but they could have just tried to lock another one on or even top 4 and then started to peel. But I can understand they're thinking that maybe they didn't want to get that much play in the center. Trouble is their place stone
It's already there.
Is there, and it's behind the tee line. So
Hungary is going to draw behind their guard. And this one is on the guard. Coming down now.
they'll rub off. Buried behind the corner guard. Now we'll see Sweden go to work on these guards, I think. Or not.
They're going to half bury one. I think it's a bit dangerous.
I think their decision was probably based on the fact that they did peel guards last end, and it didn't work for them all that well in the end, but they also didn't play the tick early. So perhaps now they're thinking they may as well, assume that it's a tie game, play like they have throughout the event, and draw. Certainly worked well for them this week. They are in the gold medal game, so.
Just trying to half bury this. Indicating weight's a bit up. They certainly don't want to be behind the tee line.
No, they don't want to be moving that place stone and creating some sort of pocket. It's going to over curl though. Certainly is an opportunity for Hungary to get into that area and make their stone difficult to remove.
Csak ide toljuk hátra még egyelőre. Csak pici tolás. Mit szólsz?
Jó.
Mert nem szabad ütnünk, mert valami meg kell, hogy álljunk.
Jó.
Jó?
Jó.
8. 8-9.
So I think they're going to try to push that stone in the top 4 foot back and roll over in front.
I think that's the call. Just create more of a wall, really, and make Sweden play something a bit more difficult.
They're going to be patient here, be content not to be shot rock early in the end like they were in the last end. I think this is a good play.
This one is really curling.
You're going to have to go hard to get it by their red stone behind the corner guard. Now Sweden could really start to close things down. They could play a hit and roll on the Palanchka's shooter now that's 3/4 exposed behind the corner guard. Or they're going to debate just guarding this. The out turn, inside out turn, roll towards the center line.
Känns så jäkla svårt att dra dit någonting bättre än det jag gjorde på förra när garderna ligger som de gör.
Inte en till här då?
Ja?
Inte en till här?
Fast då får de någon jäkla vikt på den där röda ändå för skott så att...
Yeah, they are gonna remove the red one just played by Palancha.
The only question with this is I don't know how much the Hungarians can do with that stone, so the draw might make as much sense.
I think Frederick he thinks it's hard to place the draw with the guards the way they are and the curl the way it is.
Throwing this with normal weight, but has some curling to do. That was not the results he wanted.
No.
Might be reconsidering his thoughts on the draw. So Hungary is going to play the same hit.
Yeah, one of the last things that Frederick said was, well, we haven't played anything down here, and then he still went to throw it, and I think that might not be a very good thought to have in your head before you play an important shot.
In the extra end of the gold medal game.
Exactly. So Hungary want to hit and roll here. They could sit on top of the yellow, behind their red, and it's not easy for Sweden. If they ever need to draw the forfeit or the pin to win this game, it's not going to be easy because of where those guards are.
Yeah, the corner guards are not particularly wide. They moved there when Jolt Kish ticked on them, but they're not particularly wide. Oh my. Bit unlucky there, really. She needed just to hit it a fraction thinner, and she sticks.
Yeah.
They could have been off it more to hit it thicker and roll, but
some nerves here.
that was just an inch from being really good. It's still not a bad situation because I think Hungary will be able to force Sweden to make something difficult on their last.
Sämsta som kan hända är att de går ner och trycker i egen och blir skott. Alltså. Garda, har de dragningen överallt för poäng. Får försöka lägga den här då. Där. Har vi någonting att jobba på i alla fall. De har ju taken här ute också för ligga 4.
So this time they're electing to guard.
And they're going to come down all the way top 8 foot. Hungary can even hit and roll in of their own. They're going to make sure that this, Sweden's going to make sure that the stone they play now is something that they can use.
Yeah, they don't want to half tuck it behind something and make it more difficult to draw.
Lite till va?
Sure about that grimace that Frederick Holster made as he got in the hack here. This is in turn where he sort of feeds it out. Usually means it's positive to the broom.
He thinks this is long. It looks like it's going to be a good one.
It's going to be short of the rings, but what he doesn't want to do is
Half bury.
that is the shot. He wanted to make sure he could use it, and he can't right now.
Well, when he's up to sweep, it's actually like 2 meters behind the stone, calling the weight. Maybe he would benefit from being closer, because they could maybe have swept that to even sit shot. That would have been a better call.
Nem, én ide akarom csak tolni. Ha esetleg gyors, akkor benne van az, hogy erre még egy picit.
Well, you can give him that advice next season, Sarah, or not, since you may play him in the mixed doubles playdown.
Well, I might keep it to myself then.
Jó. Jó. Igaz.
So Sweden sitting 1. Hungary with a chance to take that position away from them.
It's not an easy play for Kish, but he can get it to a spot that will make it difficult to remove. You're right, he could play the hit and roll off his own.
I think he might be well advised, because that's going to be there for Sweden if he makes this. I guess he can't really see a whole lot of it from the hack, though.
This doesn't look like an especially inviting port. Staggered the wrong way. I guess he can get.
Well, it curls a lot. He probably can get to nose with T-weight.
Yep.
And he only needs to tap it a little bit. And even if he taps it and he gets an angle, it's possible Sweden won't be able to hit it, because they'll jam on their own. We're just going to have to see. There's a lot of different possibilities.
A lot of variables here. He doesn't have to move it very far to be shot and force Sweden to make something with their last. It will finish. You should count on it finishing.
It's coming now.
It could go for weight, I think.
It's coming down now.
There it is.
It's a beautiful shot.
Jolt Kish under pressure. Clutch play. Sits shot. Full forefoot. And Sweden.
Left with the in-off, I believe, off the left high red stone.
Indeed, I think that's what they have left. Big shot for Jolt Kish. The last shot he'll throw in this event. And it was a very good one, and may be good enough to win him a gold medal. Elizabeth Nordahl, though, has been clutch all game. We'll see if she has another shot in her bag here to win the game for Sweden. Exciting finish here at the 2013 World Mixed Doubles Championship.
final shot of the game right here. Elisabeth Nordahl with a roll-in or a double for Sweden.
And Hungary,
they are going to win.
Have their first world curling title. Zsolt Kiss, Dorottya Polonska with a gold medal at the 2013 World Mixed Doubles Championship with a comeback victory over Sweden. Exciting finish for the Hungarians. You look at that scoreboard, how they rallied and end 7, 8, and 9, down 7-4, playing the 7th.
Ladies and gentlemen, we would ask that participating teams please go to the marshalling area. With participating teams,
Sarah Carlson will be down to interview the gold medal winning team. We'll have that and a recap of the last half of this gold medal game.
In about 5 minutes, we ask you to stay with us. Volunteers, you are asked to go to the front lobby. Volunteers to the front lobby, please. Thank you.
It's down there. Here we have a recap of the last half of the gold medal game, an exciting finish. Sweden took a lead into the 5th end, but Hungary, Zsolt Kiss makes this hit and roll in to get just enough for second shot with his last. There you see it, that was for 2, so Hungary trailed by 1 at that point in the game. Sweden answered in the 6th end when Elisabeth Nordahl makes this nice tap for 2. She moves the Swedish stone just far enough to count 2, holds the angle here. That was a real nice shot for 2, answered the 2 of Hungary. So Sweden took a 7-4 lead into the 7th end. And in the 7th end, Zsolt Kiss had this draw for 3. Already lying 2, he has a draw for 3. It picked, I think, or he just came up well short. I think it picked out of his hand. So with that, we went to the 8th end. Hungary trailing by 1, they needed to steal. They had this steal set up almost the entire end. Sweden trying to peel, couldn't quite get the action in this around the button. Nordahl has this shot to try to score 1. It over curls. She'll come to the top red. So we head to an extra end. Hungary needing to steal. Zsolt Kiss tapped that red stone to full forefoot and left Elisabeth Nordahl with nothing but this difficult in-off. Over curling, and it was a steal of 1 for Hungary, and the gold medal to Hungary. Zsolt Kiss and Dorottya Polonska. A big victory for Hungary and Hungarian curlers. So we'll have an interview with the winning Hungarian team coming right up. They were excited just to be in this game, and I'm sure they'll be thrilled to have bested the previous best performance by a Hungarian team, a silver medal in 2009.
You just became world champion. How do you feel about that?
I just can't believe it. I don't know what to say. I'm very happy and don't know. I just can't believe it.
What made you come out on top today?
I think we didn't play very well, but I think it was hard that we believed that we could came back. We knew that the Swedish team is very hard to play against, and we knew that we had to fight our last bleed.
Before the extra end, what did you say to each other?
We did. We will do it. Yes.
What does this mean for Hungarian curling?
I think that's the biggest result. I mean, I think we are just a small federation with a not so big history, and I think we achieved this within 10 years, and I think that's amazing. And I hope everyone is happy at home.
I think they will be. So congratulations, and is there anything you would like to say for your family and fans back home?
Yeah. Köszönjük mindenkinek a szurkolást, és hát tényleg nagyon örülünk, hogy megnyertük. Puszilunk mindenkit otthon. Most nagyon igazából szavakat sem találunk szerintem.
Mi nem futunk fel. Nagyon nehéz. Köszönjük a szurkolást.
Köszönjük szépen.
Well, thank you very much and enjoy your celebrations.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.